Once again, the United States is concentrating high-end assets near Iranian borders. A nuclear-powered aircraft carrier, the USS Abraham Lincoln, has moved into the Arabian Sea. Air Force units across what's known as CENTCOM's area of responsibility have been placed on heightened readiness, and multiple day air drills are underway already across dozens of host nations with deliberately vague timelines and locations. So this is therefore not routine signaling as last year. Abraham Lincoln is not merely a symbolic deployment. It is the flagship of the Carrier Strike Group. It brings with it thousands of personnel, dozens of strike aircraft, guided missile destroyers capable of launching land attack cruise missiles, and layered air and defense systems. In practical terms, therefore, it represents a self-contained defensive platform, a mobile airbase that can sustain high-tempo operations without reliance on regional airfields for ages. Comparatively, in June of 2025, similar assets were deployed shortly before strikes were launched. In late 2025, a comparable pattern was observed when the US stockpiled forces in the Caribbean ahead of its military operation against Venezuelan targets and, of course, then Maduro. But that does not mean a strike is inevitable. History suggests that when Washington assembles this level of force, it is at least preserving the option and signaling that it is willing to use it. Carry a big stick, but you don't necessarily need to use it, kind of doctrine. Now, against this backdrop, Trump's rhetoric matters, of course. Public threats, claims of protecting civilians, and warnings that future action would dwarf previous strikes all raise the political cost of restraint. A case of, lack of follow-through. With that in mind, let's go through the potential scenarios, starting with the most optimistic and ending with the most destabilizing, escalatory ladder, if you like. So, scenario 1, the optimistic one. Surgical strikes, regime, and a democratic transition. This is what most people would like to happen. The US basically conducts limited precision airstrikes on specific targets. They would likely include things related to the IRGC or Revolutionary Guard, launch sites, and key elements of Iran's nuclear infrastructure. Civilian casualties are minimized, the strikes are short, but the message is clear. Under this pressure, an already highly weakened regime collapses. Internal opposition fills the vacuum. Over time, Iran transitions towards a genuine democratic system and reintegrates into the global economy. This is the scenario often implied, quietly by proponents of large-scale military operation. But history is not kind to this idea. Both Iraq and Libya illustrate what happens when a dictatorship is removed through external force. Neither experienced a smooth transition to democracy, and instead power vacuums, militia, and prolonged instability or complete civil war ensued. Even in Syria, which saw its regime fall through internal revolt rather than Western intervention, is still navigating this uncertain path, albeit far better than the Syrian civil war of the past 12 years. The scenario is not impossible, but it is highly optimistic and not one policymakers can responsibly assume nor therefore adequately plan on.